going well at our end. So today happens to be the 15th of August 2026, and in fact, a very interesting day. So why is today very interesting? Because in deciding the future of Nigeria, election, which is one of the strategy, is actually the electioneering season between now and the mid part of 2027. So we know for some states at some point the electoral calendar had actually shifted, of which we had states like Iti, states like Osun, Nasarawa, and the rest. So, but for today, Osun State will be going to the pool. And why this was because this is actually going to be deciding the fate of the country at the end. This is going to set the pace for 2027. So, whatever happens in today's election will give us a picture of what will be happening in 2027 election. Thank you everyone for connecting. Thank you everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are connecting from. So over here is wisdom, and I really appreciate having you here. So for the Osun State election, which will be taking place today, we have major contestants ranging from the Accord Party, for which the incumbent governor, that's the sitting governor, belongs to, and then we have the ADC, for which as we speak, rumors had it yesterday. I think it has already been confirmed that the thank you so much, Mr. Michael. Thank you so much. Good morning. Thank you so much. Well, how's England today? Hope you are good. I'm actually streaming from Nigeria, the western part. So, as we speak, the ADC candidate, that's Mr. Najim Salam, has actually stepped down on the race. We also have the APM candidate who has also stepped down by name Mr. Adebayo Simon Adewale. He has actually stepped down from the race. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Michael. It's nice knowing. Thank you for having you here. So over here on today's discussion, we just want to talk about the Osun State election and then what it holds for the 2027 race. So it's just going to be a brief live stream. So the floor is open for us to send in our suggestion, our contribution. So I want to believe from the name you're actually in Nigeria, sir. I want to believe you're in Nigeria from your surname, right? So which state exactly are you from, sir? So the Osun State election, as I said earlier, will set the pace for how 2027 is going to be. And we know that the most important candidate on this election is the Accord Party, who happens to be the sitting governor, Governor Ademola Adeleke. And then the APC candidate. So the APC candidate is another major person. And that's because the APC happens to be the ruling party as of today. They are the ruling party. And then that of the ADC. The ADC is also another major person in the race. So for the APC, we have Bola Oyebamiji. Okay, yeah. Bola Oyebamiji. Please pardon me for the pronunciation because I'm not a Yoruba, so I may not pronounce the name very well. And then that for the ADC is Najim Salam. So those are the major three contestants. The other persons, such as that of the APM, has actually stepped down. The PDP, which is person of Ademola Adebayo, has stepped down, while the APM, Adebayo Simon Adewale, has stepped down as we speak. It is important that before we go to the pool, we have to ask ourselves some important questions. One of it is, what has the current governor done? What has he done? Okay, so yes, I am a Nigerian born in Delta State, but I have lived over 21 years in England. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. It's nice knowing I'm actually a cross riverian. I'm a cross riverian. So, but I have spent greater part of my years outside Cross River State. Right, I've been to cities like Abuja, cities like Lagos State. I've been to Abia State. I've traveled around generally. I've been, in fact, based on region, I've been through, except for Northeast. That's the only state I've not, that's the only region I've not been to. So, so how's England today? And what are your own proposition for the 2026 election for Osun State? Who do you think is going to be winning the election? Are you in support of Governor Adeleke or the support of the APC candidate? Who are you rooting for come the election today, which will be starting from 8 a.m. today? Who are you rooting for? Who do you think has the highest chances to win? Thank you everyone for connecting. Please kindly help us like the live stream, okay? Kindly help us like the live stream. It's actually free of charge. Kindly help us like the live stream, okay? So as I was saying, whilst you are going to, for those that will be voting today, whilst you are going to the poll, some of the questions you should be asking yourself is, what has the sitting governor done? What is he looking forward to do? What did he promise before he took his previous tenure? What did he do? And then what are we looking forward to? Yeah, it's important that I let us know that for the sitting governor, that's Governor Adeleke, he has actually done some project in terms of the road infrastructure, at least recorded on record, we have there about over 350-kilometer roads. He has actually constructed and then reconstructed some of the major roads. Then in terms of healthcare, at least over 200 healthcare centers along other medical outreach programs has been conducted under his administration. Under the education, it is important also to let us know that the Osun State governor has taken the Osun State from the 33rd position they have under national exams up to number 7th. So Osun State rates at number 7th as we speak. That is under the 2025 statistics. Between 2024 and 2025 statistics, Osun State have shifted from the 33rd position up onto the 7th position. So that's a major milestone. Imagine a state that for national exams was rating at number 33. That is, and you know we have 36 states, right? Oh, Chefuya, thank you so much. Chefuya, it's been a long time. Thank you so much. Chefuya, how have you been now? So think about a state that have been at the number 33rd position for national exams, moving up until the 7th position. So as we speak, using the statistics of 2024-2025, the Osun State has moved from 33rd position to the 7th position for national exams. That's a great feat. Okay, as a family, it's been a long while though. It's been a long while. I've not been so active. You know how Whitey has been so discouraging at some point. Okay, okay. At some point, I needed to take a step back. So on this live stream, we are just talking about political discussions because for Nigeria, we're actually at that season again where we want to decide our leaders who pilot the affairs of the country. So that's where we are. Okay, so you are actually on your break at work. Okay. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the show of love. I really appreciate. Thank you so much. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So as I was saying, for one of the states as we speak, which happens to be Osun State in Nigeria, we're actually going to be running an election today, starting by 8 a.m. of today. And so this is going to also decide our national election by 2027, which is going to take place from January. So we are considering this because we have the ruling party being the APC, and the APC government, in as much as they have some level of progresses, but has been flawed with what many analysts will tell us has been somewhat amongst the least performed government. since the history of the country, Nigeria. And so the citizens, if you go to the court of public opinion, you would hear people craving for something new. The people do not want the regular thing. The people want a shift, different from the old system, different from the system of godfatherism, different from the system of maintaining table manners, where it favors you, you don't talk. But if it doesn't favor you, you shout and scream the loudest. So the system is actually the masses actually want a change in that system. They also want a change from where it is who gets the money back, share it for all, and then leave the masses that way. Leave the masses more impoverished than what it was. So we don't want that kind of system. We are at the point where the current government, when they came on board, dollar as to naira exchange rate was there about six something. And as we speak today, has been sitting permanently at 1,350 naira. Things have actually skyrocketed. We were at the point where a bag of cement, as of the current government when they took off, was there about 4,500 naira. And where it is as of the moment, we are talking about there about 10,000 naira. We're actually in a country where common antibiotics was within the range of, you can get that within the range of 1,250 and so on. But now we are talking about thereabout for the how do they call it? Trying to get the right medical word for it. The unbranded, yeah, that's the right word for it. The unbranded, you see them for the least rate of 5,000, 10,000 naira, for which the unbranded, as of those days, you could see at 500 naira. While the branded, you could see they're about 3,000, 4,000 thereabout. But those branded ones now have actually skyrocketed to they're about 20 something thousand, 30 something thousand naira. That's a lot of shift. We're actually at that state where a place where someone as of 2023 would pay 50 naira for transport is now paying there about 1,500 naira. Those are a couple of discussions. We're actually at the place where most schools, especially public schools, you could see it. Yeah, that's you're actually speaking from the current situation, Mr. Michael. A bag of cement, which was as of 4,500 naira for most places, yeah, it's actually you can get it for 11,750 naira. That is a lot of increment. That's actually a lot of increment. And just for the school fee, for instance, there were schools that people, let me use primary school for instance. Primary schools as of 2023, you could still see primary schools where you pay 10,000 naira. Thank you so much, Chefuya. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Thank you so much for the gift. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Trust me, I really appreciate. I really appreciate. So you could see that school fee you were paying 10, you could see schools for 10,000 naira. And those schools as of today are at the range of, they are the range of 40,000, 50,000 naira. I have a close friend that she has two younger children, a single mother, has two children, right? And then she was crying the other day and was like, school fee that I used to pay, at least for my two children, 15,000 naira was enough for me to carry me. Thank you so much, Chefuya. It was nice having you here. Trust me, I really appreciate this kind gesture. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's fine, okay? Thank you so much. So, Chefuya is actually a great supporter of this channel. She's actually a good friend, a nice friend. So she's actually a content creator too. You can actually check her up. Let me see how to pin her on the comment so that you can check her channel. She's actually connecting from the United States of America, right? So you can actually subscribe to her channel also. Please do well to connect with her. I've actually pinned her. You can actually check her channel after this live stream, okay? Thank you so much, Sophia. I really appreciate. So as I was saying, she was complaining that the school fee that normally I can spend 15,000 naira for my two children, now I need to keep up to 100 and 150,000 naira. I'm not even talking about the uniform. I'm not talking about the books and maybe the feeding and things like that. Now I'm talking about accommodation. Back then you could see a single room self-con for 80,000 naira, 100,000 naira as of 2023. But if you want to talk about single room as of today, single room have skyrocketed using cities like Lagos State from that same 100,000 naira, 80,000 naira to for you to see a good one. In fact, I'm not even talking about good one. I'm talking about a manageable one. You are budgeting there about 250,000 naira to 300,000 naira. That is how much things have actually skyrocketed. So the masses are actually saying we need something different. We actually need something different. We don't need that old system. We need people that will actually come in and manage the available resource, the scarce resource, and make something productive out of it. As I will always maintain, Nigeria is not suffering from the issue of lack of resources. We're actually suffering from that of the poor management of the available resources. We have the current government who will spend a whole lot to run the affairs of the government. Let me use for instance, right? We're actually owing a whole lot in terms of loan, but compared to the projects that are carried out across the spread of states, it is almost like we're not noticing any change. We're not noticing any difference. Performing states in Nigeria as we speak today, I don't think they're up to 7 performing states. And it is only one that have actually shifted and is outstanding compared to every other one. And that happens to be Abia State. Abia State is the only state that have gone far ahead of every other state. Close to that, we don't have beyond 5 to 6 other states that come close in terms of infrastructural development, in terms of health development, in terms of educational development. So when we go out today to vote as a citizen of Osun State, what are you looking for? What are the kind of qualities you'll be looking for from a leader? We currently have a leader that when you criticize them, they may either intimidate you, come after you, arrest you, or whatsoever along that line of discussion. Compared to an ideal democratic system where public criticism, is supposed to keep those in public offices on check, to help them do the right thing at the right time, to make them know if their service, when you let's use for instance a business, or let me say company, right? If you actually want to know if your company is doing well, there is what we call customer satisfaction. For those days, you create a notice board and you give room for the customers after using your service, after patronizing you, to drop their opinion on how they feel about your services, right? Now, for these days where things are digitalized, on their social media page, they'll give you a room for complaints or to give a review on how you feel about the services rendered. Now, move over to politics. Political analysts, the citizens, religious leaders, as well as critics are supposed to be people that will keep the government in check, to give them a vivid and accurate review of how the masses feel about their infrastructural development, healthcare development, manpower development, and the rest. These people are supposed to serve that role. But as we speak today, let's use that of the bishop, which happened in recent time, where the bishop met the president. We know the bishop, they don't own land, they don't own properties. They are persons that the church, which happens to be a Catholic church, are fully in charge of whatsoever they want, meaning that they have the responsibility to say, I can go there, praise the governor, praise the president. After all, I stand to either benefit nothing or lose nothing. But these persons took the bull by the horn and say, we are persons that have been seeing people who come for confession. We have different organizations under the Catholic hierarchy that comes to give report. We have a lot of people in terms of NGO and other organizations, we know the Catholic Church, they are the ones that are actually up there. Now, these persons are giving review of how the citizens feel about the current administration. Instead of the president to say, okay, whereas we are working, whereas we appreciate the positive critique, but we believe we can actually do better. Instead of that, we could see a lot of fire back from different quarters. That is not how a true democratic system is run. Thank you, Chefuya. Chefuya say, God bless you all. Thank you so much, Chefuya. It was nice having you here with us. God bless you. For everyone connecting, I would really appreciate if we can kindly like this live stream. Please help us to click the like button, okay? It's free of charge. Trust me, you're not paying a dime for it. Just help us like the live stream, okay? You can also do well to share the live stream. Please, we'll really appreciate, okay? Do well to share the live stream. Now, going further to that, for the Osun State government, they have also developed in terms of the educational aspect. For instance, the University of Elisha, there is a discussion that it actually established and developed the university in terms of that is in terms of also the accreditation aspect to ensure that the various faculties, the various areas, right, they actually accredited, right. The next one is that in terms of the workers and pensioners, he has ensured that they are paid their due dividend. They are paid their due dividend, right? That workers are not owed salaries. If you are a citizen of Osun State, if you know any worker that is being owned, or if you believe that it is actually otherwise, let us know in the comments box, okay? Let us know in the comment box. But from public records, this man has been able to ensure that public workers. Yeah, so sorry everyone. I think my network actually went off at some point. So I'm still with us here, okay? I'm still with us here. Still connected with us, please kindly let us know in the comment box, okay? So on this live stream, as I said earlier, we're actually looking at the Osun State election, which is taking place as of today, and what it means to us ahead of the 2027 general election, right? So sorry, I am trying to load my data so that it won't go off again. I'm trying to load my data. I'm still with us, okay? All right. So as I was saying, yeah, I'm back with us. Whilst we go out for it's back again. All right. So as I was saying, um, it's important that we ask ourselves some pertinent question. What have the current government achieved? What have they been able to do? Have they been able to better the life of the people in any way? That should be the major discussions that we should be having in the various quarters, right? Now, starting from the Osun State, as I said, that looking generally from the general politics, the major from the upper house, right? We are currently under the APC regime. And if you go to the court of public opinion, the masses are actually, major percent of the masses are actually tired of the current government, that are the current system. They want something different from what it is as of the moment. They want they want a politics that is free of godfatherism. They want a politics that is free of share between only the ruling class and let the masses suffer. They want something different from, they want something where the child of a nobody can become somebody without knowing anybody. They want something where you can walk to the hospital. Those days, you can even pick a victim on the roadside and take to the hospital, and the hospital will take care of that person. And then we'll talk about the aspect of finance much later after treatment and recovery has been done. But as of today, for those in Nigeria, please, if you still know any hospital, any healthcare facility where you will step into, they will attend to you first before they talk about money, please let us know in the comment box. Let us know in the comment box. But for me, I can't tell you any healthcare facility right now that we are speaking where you will walk in, you will not make any pay down, you will not drop any amount down, and then they will attend to you first before they start talking about the finance. But those were things that were there before the APC administration. Talking about the aspect of education, we're already making milestone achievements in the aspect of education. At least for the basic education, primary six, right? Primary one to primary six was supposed to be free of charge. You only buy your uniform, and they were even giving textbooks. Let me use states like Cross River State. Cross River State make an amazing achievement in that aspect. The governor, Donald Duke, who is currently the presidential candidate of the PRP, Presidential Party, was able to give free books, free textbooks, was able to give, for some schools, computers. They were computerized. In fact, he made sure that computer was added into the syllabus that students could learn. He actually was the first person that made typewriter become outdated. So these are some of the things that the citizens are looking at. We want an education that will shift from the analog to digital. We want an education that is affordable by the common man. Those are some of the things we should be looking at while voting any candidate in the 2026 as well as the 2027 elections. 2026 for the various states and 2027 for the general elections. So we have to ask ourselves this question: how many governors are working towards that? And that's why the person of the Abia State Governor, Alex Oti, His Excellency Alex Oti, Alex Oti does not need to do any campaign. His works is already a campaign for him. You will not struggle to vote out somebody who you are already seeing results. You are already seeing results. This man is showing you results. That is the kind of candidate we should be pushing for come 2027. A candidate that he doesn't need to fight anybody. He doesn't need to struggle. Have you seen how effortlessly Alex Oti is actually preparing for his next election? How effortlessly he's preparing. He's not struggling to do any campaign at all. He's not struggling for any campaign. Why do you think it became difficult for the APC to bring a candidate to actually contest against him? Why do you think? Because he has works, he has achievement to show, he has records to show. Why do you think that the APC ended up adopting him? If you want to talk about that, he identified with the president, he identified with the APC. Then Adeleke of Osun State also identified with the president. He also said that he's supporting the president. Do you want to talk about that? Okay, Labour Party, NDC, for instance. No, Adeleke is in Accord. Accord Party, as of the moment, he is the only governorship candidate of, in fact, he's the only governor, sitting governor of Accord Party. Accord Party does not have good number of representatives across the nation. But he identified with the APC government to support Tinubu for his re-election. But yet, the APC are fighting him. It's because his works, even though he has achieved, as I was saying, I was listing a couple of those achievements he has had, is not commensurable to people like Alex Oti. The APC cannot help it. They can't even bring anybody that will come close to Alex Oti come 2027. There is nobody at all. There is nobody in the camp of APC that can stand against him. Those are kind of leaders we should be looking for come 2026 governorship elections and the 2027 general election. We should vote in candidate that has works to show. Those are what we should be looking at. We should vote in competent hands. We should be able to ask them, what have they done? What are they planning to do? What are they proposing? Those are some of the discussions we should be having. Now, talking about the aspect of digital economy, Osun State introduced an ICT policy, technology innovation policy, and domesticated the Nigerian Startup Act. Those are some of his achievements in terms of ICT, revenue and debt. In terms of revenue and debt, the administration reports substantial internal generated revenue growth and a reduction in domestic debt. This should be presented as according to the government reported statistics, right? Now, what are the important questions that anybody should be asking? What are important questions on how we should actually feel about this election? First of all, ask the question, are roads improving in terms of transportation, and commerce. Now, when we talk about roads, the importance of good road in any country, we are looking at the ease for people to transmute from where they are to wherever they are heading to, which may be schools, work, business, leisure in terms of tourism, and then also safety is another aspect we should be looking at. So when we talk about good roads, we're talking about how safe is it for people to travel. We're talking about how well can it be easy for people to move economic product, commercial product from point of production to point of consumption or to point of retailing and sales to the customer, to the consumers. How much of ease does it create? We should be looking at how much of ease does it create for a common man to move from his house to his office. How much is it for somebody to move? Let's say somebody was in an emergency situation in terms of health. How much of ease can someone who is in an emergency situation can be transported to a medical facility? Those are the importance of good road system, good road network in any administration. The next question we should ask is, how has healthcare become more accessible to people? We have mentioned that over 200 healthcare and primary healthcare facilities has been fixed by the governor of Osun State. The question we should be asking practically, this milestone, has it been rewarding to the citizen? How much of focus, how much of allocations or proposed allocations will be going to the healthcare aspect? Because you need to be alive to even enjoy any other services the government is going to be offering you. The next one is, how are workers receiving better treatment? Are workers are they owe salaries? That's another aspect. Pensioners, are they owe salaries? Because everybody, these workers have responsibility at home. They have family members they cater for. How much of it is actually given to them? The next question is, are young people finding meaningful economic opportunities? Year in, year out, the system is graduating millions and thousands of young people from our tertiary institutions, from our secondary institutions. Those days, a first class student that I know, for the fact that you're a first class student, there is already a job somewhere waiting for you. You don't need to pass through rigorous screenings. But today, somebody will finish with first class. Is in the first, there is no even job for you. Talk more of even the ones available. You have to be scrutinized so much. Those are some of the questions we should be asking. How much of job opportunities, how much of meaningful opportunities, economic opportunities are there for the younger ones? We have thousands of people who are graduated into a system that does not even have enough opportunities for them. Those days we are talking about where right from secondary schools, there are empowerment opportunities so that you don't depend on your parents while even schooling. You go into learn welding, building, you learn things like bakery, you learn things like tailoring and so on. Now, to even enroll for those common empowerment, do you know how much of 1,000 of naira, millions of naira you'll be paying to enroll for those empowerment programs? Those are some of the things, the question we should be asking. How much are our leaders proposing for us in terms of economic opportunities? How much are the young people feeling the economic development? How much of those economic opportunities are available for the younger people? The next question we should be asking is, has education actually improved at the classroom levels? At the classroom level, I used to say three things which we should, I believe we should all know, that three things makes up for any learning to take place. First, a conducive atmosphere, which is the environment. Two, the ready teacher. And three, the comfortable students that are willing and ready to learn. Now, currently where we are, we even have students that are not even ready to learn because they have a lot of things on their mind, how to survive. We are actually driving towards survival. The next aspect is, teachers are not even remunerated better. They are not paid better. They are all salaries. Try to fact check how much are teachers paid, either in public schools or private schools. It is almost compared to nothing. So in terms of education, how much of allocations are going to that aspect? Now, the next one is in terms of rural communities benefiting as much as urban communities. If you go to most of these rural communities, the road is almost compared to nothing. It's almost compared to nothing. How much of allocations are actually forwarded towards or focused towards the aspect of rural development? Most of these big cities, Lagos, Abuja, and the rest, if you go to the rural aspect, you ask yourself, are we in the 21st century or we are still in the 12th century? Another aspect is, are government projects having delivered at reasonable cost? As I said earlier, we don't have an issue of unavailable resource. We have an issue of poor management. So in terms of allocations, in terms of the cost of governance, the person that is coming, what is he proposing? The ones that are already in seat, seeking for re-election, how much have they been able to manage the cost of governance? Are they spending extravagantly? Are they spending lavishly? Are they feeding their excesses? Those are some of the things we should be asking ourselves while voting for any candidate. The next one is, who is Adeleke's, for this live stream, who is Adeleke's strongest opponent? As we speak, for Governor Adeleke, he has the APC candidate as his major contestant, who is the person of Bola Oyebamiji. He also has that of ADC, the person of Najim Salam, to contest. So before you go to the poll, please don't sell your vote. It is because we have allowed things like vote selling and vote buying to becloud our election period, our election season. That's why we are where we are. It's because we have been so filled with laxity that we say that our vote does not count. That's where we are. If we keep complaining without taking meaningful action to fix the system, things can only get worse. We all have to come out and vote. We need to step up from our comfort. Let's all come out and vote. Let's vote for the person that we want to represent us. And then, not just voting, let's ensure that we protect and ensure that our votes are counted. Those are responsibilities that the candidate themselves will not be able to achieve for us. If you leave it to the candidates alone, the most powerful candidate is only going to end up to rig the election. So we need to also put the support. The citizen need to ensure that the highest voter takes the election. It is enough for our election to be decided in the courtroom. It is actually enough for election to be decided at the courtroom. So it is important for us to note that comparing these various candidates in terms of economic plans, what are they proposing? In terms of infrastructural proposals, what do they have on the table? What are they bringing to the table? In terms of education, what are they bringing to the table? In terms of healthcare, what are they proposing? In terms of youth empowerment, what are they proposing? In terms of security, we know that this is the current issues that we're actually struggling. We're actually struggling with. What are they proposing to tackle the security challenge of the nation at the state level, at the local government level? What are they proposing? In terms of revenue generation, what are they proposing? In terms of transparency and accountability, in terms of government spendings, cost of governance, what are they proposing? Please, if you are joining this live stream, kindly help us to like the live stream, help us subscribe. I really appreciate having you here. Please help us subscribe, help us to like the live stream, okay? I can see a good number of us, but compared to the person that have liked the live stream, it is not commensurate. Please help us to like the live stream. It is actually free of charge. Believe me, it's free of charge. You don't pay to like the live stream. You don't pay to subscribe. It's actually free of charge, okay? The next one is, who are the person? It is important to let us know, as I said earlier, that some persons have actually stepped down for Governor Adeleke. Who are the persons that have stepped down for Governor Adeleke? We have Adebayo Simon Adewale of APM. We also have Adedamola Adebayo of PDP. It is important to also know that the fact that these two major contestants have actually stepped down does not mean that all the persons under PDP or all the persons under APM are actually going to support Governor Adeleke. It is only important to note that the fact that they have stepped down to support him, a good number of support will come from them to him, but does not mean that all supporters will automatically support him. So if you feel that he has actually performed well, why not support him? Don't just be carried away that okay, the PDP candidate, the APM candidate have stepped down for him, and so therefore is automatically going to be the winner of the election. Another important fact we need to note is where we are. The big question for every voter is why should the voters consider Governor Adeleke? And this will go to people that are within Osun State. Please, if you are connecting with us, you are in Osun State. We want you to help us answer the various questions. In terms of infrastructural delivery, we have stated a couple of things on record that we have on record. But for you that is a citizen in Osun State, what do you feel in terms of infrastructural delivery? Has it delivered? In terms of healthcare expansion, for records, it is stated that he has achieved at least over 200 healthcare development, healthcare facility development. In terms of road infrastructure, that at least 350-kilometer roads has been developed and reconstructed by him. Physically on ground, what do you have to say about that? In terms of the educational aspect, we have found out that he has been able to keep up with accreditations as well as building of the university and so on. What do you have to say in that regard? The next one is in terms of workers' welfare. Is he owing salaries? Do you have anything to say? What do you have to say about that aspect? Then, in terms of agricultural development, is he supporting people to move towards digital agricultural system or a scientific agricultural system? That's the right word to use. In terms of debt reduction, is the state owing much more than what it met? In terms of digital economy initiative, what do you think about that? What do you have to say about that? We have talked about the University of Elisha, which he has developed. What do you have to say about that? In terms of accreditation also, which are going to make. Then in terms of road, we have talked about that, and building of bridges, dualization of the various routes. For those that are present on ground, what do you have to say about that? And then in terms of improving internal generated revenue, what do you have to say about that? So we watching from a distance, how does this affect us? Yes, if it doesn't affect us watching from a distance, governors like Governor Monday Okpebelo will not leave Edo State to go to Osun State to go and poke nose in the activity. If it doesn't affect us, governors like Oju Sokalu will not leave Abia State to go there and go and poke nose. It is because whatsoever is going to happen in this current Osun State governorship election is what is going to set the tune. They are actually test running the mic. Is what is going to set the tune for 2027 election. And so whatsoever you are going to be seeing, just as we saw in Ekiti State election, there were rumors that monies were exchanging hands. At least there were video clips of that people were taking as much as 80,000 naira, 15,000 naira, and the rest. Is this what we are looking forward to in 2027? That is why it is important to us, because 2027 to a greater extent is going to also determine the future of Nigeria as a nation. So that is why it is actually significant to us, right? Now, for those that are going to be voting, who do you have in mind? If you are voting Governor Adeleke, let me know in the comment box. Kindly let us know in the comment box. Who are you supporting? And why do you think that is the most formidable candidate to support? Why do you think he's the most formidable candidate to support? You know, there have been rumors around that he's a dancing governor. For those that are citizens, do you really believe that he's actually a dancing governor and not a performing governor? What do you have to say about that? Let us know in the comment box. For those of us that are just connecting, I really appreciate having us here, all right? I really appreciate having us here. Help us like the live stream. It is free of charge. Help us subscribe. It's free of charge. Then for the opposition, the question will be, what specifically would they do differently from Governor Adeleke? What would they do differently? How would they finance the various programs of governance? For the Governor Adeleke projects that are actually ongoing, how do they seek to run it to the finish? I've said that the issue with the current Nigerian system is that for each administration that comes on board, they want to start from the scratch. They want to also start from the scratch, achieve their own project without continuity. And so therefore, the money that the previous administration has spent on their project now becomes total waste and total mess. So there must be a point of continuity as well as a point when new projects are also started up. So it should go in pari pursuit, right? So the question is, on its ongoing project, what are the opposition proposing towards that? The next one is, how would they improve the internal generated revenue? The next question would be, for the youth, in terms of employability, what are the opportunities they are proposing to the youth? What are those opportunities they are proposing to the youth? The next one is, for the healthcare, what are their blueprints for the healthcare system? We need to have a healthy society to even talk about a progressive society, because health is actually wealth. I believe we know that. In terms of education, you need active minds to be able to think out of the box. What is the blueprint they're actually proposing to you that is supporting the opposition? The next question would be, for the Osun State debt. It is interesting to know that the current Nigerian system we have, each governor that comes on board will meet a range and enormous amount of debt. What is their plan to be able to pay off the current debt that is on ground? As we will be rolling towards the conclusion of this live stream, what are the opposition proposing in terms of attracting investors? What are the measurable targets that voters should be able to use to judge their 4 years tenure? And that will take us to the most critical part, because at the end of the day, Osun State is bigger than any candidate or political party. Voters should look beyond party colors. Voters should also look beyond personalities and also their campaign promises. We should examine the records of every contestant. We should ask difficult questions and make difficult decisions based on what you believe will best serve the Osun State. So at this point, any question at all is actually going to be attended to at this point. So if you have any question, do well to drop it in the comment box. If you also have any suggestion to drop, help us drop it in the comment box. It is important that you know that today, being the 15th of August 2026, is the D-Day for the election. And as a nation builder, as a citizen who is actually futuristic and goal-oriented bound, looking forward to a progressive society, progressive Nigeria, it's important that I encourage and admonish you that you go out and vote. Don't hang or stand by the fence and say that your vote does not count, because if this excuse continue, we'll end up having a Nigerian system where votes no longer count. Right now, we are struggling with the electoral body putting into motion an election system where the educational criteria of the candidate is of no significance. We're also setting the motion where irregularities are actually seen as normal things. We remember what the president said in the past week. He said that in politics, everything is fair. Anything is fair. Is it supposed to be so? And that's why we should be able to wake up as citizens to ensure that the power of the people in a true democratic system is actually ensured to the latter. Because those in power does not have the absolute power over those that actually voted them into office. At this point, if there is no question, if there is no contribution, we may be drawing the curtain at this point. So if you are just connecting, kindly help us like the live stream, help us subscribe, drop meaningful and respectable comments in the comment box. I really appreciate every one of us that have connected. For Chefuya, who is a friend of mine and also a co-content creator, I really appreciate your gifting on this live stream. And anybody that wish to support also, I really appreciate you, and the floor is open for you. You can support with any amount of your choice. All right. I really appreciate it. If you check the dollar sign below, that is just where you can send in your support. Just click on the dollar sign and select any amount of your choice. And I will really appreciate also. I look forward to that moment where this particular channel becomes your most favorite click. For now, stay safe, enjoy the rest of the day, go out and vote, ensure that your vote actually counts. Don't just vote and take your leave out of the venue. Um, See you some other time. God bless you. Cheers.